by a steep increase in fuel prices, adding to the financial burden on consumers already dealing with rising inflation and increasing household expenses. In a major setback for the public, state-owned oil marketing companies today announced another sharp hike in petrol and diesel prices, marking the fourth increase in less than 2 weeks. Notably, the latest revision has pushed petrol prices higher by up to rupees 2.61 per litre and diesel by as much as rupees 2.71 per litre across the country, taking the cumulative increase in fuel prices to nearly rupees 7.5 per litre since May 15, when daily price revisions resumed after a prolonged freeze. And in the national capital, petrol prices rose from rupees 99.51 to rupees 102.12 per litre, while diesel prices increased from rupees 92.49 to rupees 95.20 per litre. Similar hikes were recorded across the 4 metro cities, as in Kolkata, petrol now costs rupees 113.51 per litre and diesel rupees 99.82. In Mumbai, consumers are paying rupees 111.21 for petrol and rupees 97.83 for diesel. Chennai also witnessed another jump, with petrol prices touching rupees 107.77 per litre and diesel reaching rupees 99.55. Just 2 days earlier, oil companies had already raised fuel prices by nearly rupees 1 per litre, making this the fourth hike in less than 10 days. The impact has not been limited to petrol and diesel alone, as compressed natural gas, or also known as CNG, prices have also gone up by rupees 1 per kilogram, marking the third increase in recent days. And with this latest revision, CNG prices in Delhi have climbed to rupees 81.09 per kilogram. The cumulative increase in CNG prices now stands at rupees 4 per kilogram, adding pressure on daily commuters, transport operators and commercial vehicle owners who depend heavily on natural gas as a more affordable fuel alternative. Well, the repeated hikes are being driven by rising global crude oil prices and the weakening Indian rupee, both of which have sharply increased import cost for oil marketing companies. International oil prices have remained highly volatile due to growing geopolitical tensions in West Asia, particularly the ongoing conflict involving Iran and the United States of America. Concerns over the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical oil shipping routes, have also intensified fears of supply disruptions, further pushing up crude prices globally. India remains heavily dependent on imported crude oil, importing more than 88% of its total requirement. And since oil purchases are made in dollars, any weakening of the rupee directly raises the cost of imports. Experts say that the combined impact of expensive crude oil and currency depreciation has placed enormous pressure on state-run oil companies, forcing them to pass on the burden to consumers after holding prices steady for months. State-owned fuel retailers, including Indian Oil Corporation, Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited and Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, together control nearly 90% of India's fuel market. And all these companies had frozen fuel prices for an extended period despite rising global energy costs. It is a move that the government said was aimed at protecting citizens from inflationary shocks. However, opposition parties accused the government of deliberately delaying price revisions until after important state elections. And according to the reports by the rating agency, oil marketing companies were losing nearly rupees 10 per litre on petrol and around rupees 13 per litre on diesel, even after earlier price hikes. Officials argue that the losses had become unsustainable, and ONGC Director Sushma Rawat recently stated that oil companies were suffering losses of almost rupees 1,000 crore every day while fuel prices remained unchanged. She explained that whenever hopes of peace emerge in West Asia, crude prices briefly fall, but renewed uncertainty pushes them higher again. Rawat also defended the recent revision, saying that the government had shielded consumers from rising prices for nearly 76 days despite mounting global pressure. Private fuel retailers had also begun increasing prices earlier this year. Nayara Energy had raised petrol prices by rupees 5 per litre and diesel by rupees 3 per litre in March, while Shell increased petrol rates by over rupees 7 and diesel prices by nearly rupees 25 per litre from April 1. GeoBP, the joint venture between Reliance Industries and BP PLC, however, has largely moved in line with PSU fuel prices. And the current fuel rates are now the highest seen since May 2022, when petrol and diesel prices surged in the aftermath of the Russia-Ukraine war. And at that time, fuel prices had increased by nearly rupees 9 per litre within just a few weeks through multiple daily hikes. And the latest revisions have once again revived concerns over inflation, as higher fuel prices are expected to impact transportation cost, food prices and the overall cost of living. Economists warn that continued increase in fuel prices could have a cascading effect across the economy, particularly at a time when households are already dealing with rising expenses. Transporters are expected to pass on the higher fuel cost to consumers, potentially leading to increased prices of essential goods and services. And with global crude oil prices still fluctuating and geopolitical tensions showing no signs of easing, there are growing concerns that further fuel price hikes may not be ruled out in the coming weeks. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.